Virgo, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your May shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. So before we get into cards using the Slow Holler Tarot this month, as I was sitting with your energy, closing my eyes, asking for an image to come that might be useful for you this month, strangely, I saw an animated pig. And I was like, pig, okay, what is this about? And then I kind of felt the energy of like, the pig is only good for eating scraps or just like eating everything that people are giving to the pig. But in reality, pigs are highly intelligent creatures. So they're actually made for so much more than that, or they could be, right? Their potential is so much more than simply taking whatever is given to them and transmuting it, which is sort of similar to Virgo energy, right? Highly intelligent, and also often Virgos have the heart of the servant. So they will take on everything that comes their way and transmute it and transform it because they're so good at that. But also Virgo, I'm a Virgo. There's this high intelligence that not everybody taps into with that Virgo energy. Many do. But so that's like kind of the first thing I thought of with the pig in general. But as it got more specific, I realized I was looking at the pig from Charlotte's Web. I was actually shown like famous pigs, and it was like the pig from Wilbur from Charlotte's Web and then the pig Babe from the movie Babe. And I was like, okay, this is a famous pig. This is a special pig, because the through line in both of those stories is that the pig is saved from the fate of other pigs, which is slaughter, because it somehow is able to individuate. It is somehow able to be seen for the special talents it possesses. You know, in Charlotte's Web, Charlotte, Wilbur befriends the spider who wants to save him from slaughter. So she weaves messages into the web, some pig, and Wilbur becomes famous as a result. And the farmer can't slaughter a famous pig, a pig that's bringing in income in other ways. So Wilbur gets to live, and sadly lives to see Charlotte pass on and all of her children, the generations and generations of spiders. So there's something really specific in that relationship too, something about spiders with the pig and like generations of that seems to be specific. But really, and this, there's a similar storyline in Babe, but essentially what we're saying is here, Virgo, I'm getting this idea that you are somehow special. You're not like others of your kin or of your species or other Virgos or whatever. It's like you are different. Your fate is somehow different, or you are different, or you are special. You are more intelligent than that. And it's up to you to recognize that. And it's also like there's something in the stories about others need to see it in you. You're not just a dumping ground for other people's problems or other people's issues, although you are great at finding solutions. You are intelligent in your own right, and therefore you need to stand out. Let's go to cards. See where that message takes us. First, we are asking, what is the shape that Virgo is shifting out of in the month of May? The Five of Swords, the Five of Knives. Leaving something behind. I saw the Five of Swords in your pre-shuffle as well, in the other decks. Let's ask, what is the shape you're shifting into in May? Great. Nine of Stones. Yeah, talk about individuating, talk about standing out, talk about rising. I think your April reading was entitled As Big As You Are, you know, and like this is you becoming as big as you are. Capricorn energy. Well, it's Venus in Virgo is what's associated with the Nine of Pentacles. There's some sort of, you know, the Eight of Swords came out as well in reverse. Yay. It's like, it came out as if to say the only thing really trapping you is your own mentality, your own beliefs about yourself, your own mind, your own thought processes, your own blindness to your own intelligence. You know, if you believe you're one of the herd, you're one of the herd. And you stay trapped. You stay trapped in this like fate of being one of the herd. If you believe that you are as intelligent as you are as special as you are as big as you are, then that's what you become. And you leave the old version of yourself behind here, death energy with the vulture and the skeleton, and you allow that. It's interesting because with the pig, I'm keeping this Eight of Swords out and putting it right in the middle of your reading. We'll draw 2 more cards. But this is funny because in both of those pig stories, the famous pig stories, we're getting this image of a pig that was fated to die, but somehow escaped that fate, escaped being buried with the others. And I'm actually seeing that in this card. You know? Being able to walk away and like bury that version of yourself or that way of thinking about yourself in the ground and climb up the mountain to the height that you actually belong at. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to keep this Eight of Swords right at the center of your reading because again, this is like a shift in mentality, a getting out of the mental traps. The only thing trapping you being your mind or your outlook or your viewpoints, your ideas about yourself, stuff like that. We're going to keep that at the center and draw 2 more cards for what this shapeshift looks and feels like for you here in May. 2 more cards for Virgo. What does this shapeshift look and feel like for Virgo? 1 more. Oh, too many. It's like 5 cards. I'm just trying to see what order this needs to go in. Yeah. So here's the progression. A lot of Gemini energy on the board here, that your fellow mercurial sign, ruled by Mercury, ruled by the mind. There's that intelligence factor that I was sitting on, feeling. The Strength card, we have the Eight of Swords, and then we have the Lovers. 2 major arcana. This is a big shift. This is a really big mental shift for you that has very tangible physical results. Here's how I'm seeing it. In order for you to be able to see yourself clearly, and in order for you to see your way out, notice how the only person holding on that blindfold is you. In order to see your way out of your own perceived limitations, yeah, they're perceived limitations, and it's easy for me sitting where I'm sitting, although not really, I'm a Virgo, so I'm in this too, to say, oh, you have perceived limitations. But when you are in this energy, you don't even know you're holding the blindfold on. You don't even know you have a blindfold on. you know? And so there's this energy of while you are in this energy, still with the blindfold on, as to how to work your way out of these mental snares that you find yourself in, probably repetitively, you go within. I'm seeing this as like the deep caves within yourself. And it's like, it's really getting alone. You know, this is hermit energy here too for me, which is your card in the tarot, Virgo. This is like you doing your hermit thing in order to connect with yourself, like going solo, going alone, going within, setting up your own campfire here and really just sitting. You know what it's like to sit at a bonfire and stare at, or a fireplace, stare at a fire and really just lose yourself, you know, in the flames, and let yourself sort of go into this meditative state. Let yourself go into that deep contemplative energy to essentially meet your stronger self. That's what this is about. It's time for you to meet your stronger self. Interesting, that's the message coming through, because this is your stronger self. Your stronger self is incredibly self-sufficient. This is the energy of the Nine of Stones that I'm relaying to you. Incredibly self-sufficient, self-confident, solo, independent. Has their own business, for example. Whatever, you know, it doesn't have to, but like that's just an example. Like self-sustaining. You are your own self-sustaining energy. But it's really about the confidence, I think. In order to make this mental shift, this mental transformation, and leave behind these old ideas that you are less than you are, or you are smaller than you actually are, or not as smart as you actually are, like all of these insecurities I think that often come up for you, Virgo. It's like it's time to go deep, deep, deep within to meet your own inner strength, to meet your own stronger self. And what's interesting about that, you know, many people talk about the strength energy. Traditionally in the tarot, it's depicted as a woman prying open the mouth of the beast, the mouth of the lion. This is Leo energy. And that juxtaposition between the gentleness of the woman and the fierceness of the beast tells us that we find strength in our ability to meet rage and like bestial energies, aggression, with gentleness, compassion, softening. We tend in our culture to think of strength as brute force, having power over others, or being aggressive. And it's like, no, Virgo. Specifically, finding strength in your ability to meet yourself with gentleness, compassion, and softness. You know, Jessica Lanyadoo, wonderful astrologer, said this recently on her podcast, and she says it on Instagram and on her platform quite a bit, that if you can't meet yourself with gentleness, compassion, and hold your own humanity, you're not going to be able to do that for others. You know, and that hits me as a Virgo. You want to have compassion and understanding for others, it starts here. How can you hold yourself to an impossible standard and allow everybody else to be totally human, and yet you must be perfect? That's kind of the energy I'm talking about here. And so you find your strength in your ability to sit gently by your own raging fire. and be fully human in all of your imperfections. And that, I think, is how you wind your way out of this trap, because I'm seeing these swords now as all of the ways you trap yourself into a specific shape of what you think perfection is. You know, Virgos are like notorious perfectionists. And the only way out of that trap is to start by untangling yourself from that grip. And it's just a grip on yourself. No one else is really holding this grip on you. You're holding the grip on yourself, Virgo. You want others to believe in you. You have to believe in you. You want others to prize your independence. You have to prize your independence. You want others to praise your intelligence. You have to praise your intelligence. You want others to treat you with compassion and gentleness and understanding for you just simply being human. That starts with you. You can't expect others to treat you a way that you won't treat yourself. Okay, that's part of what's coming through here. And then we have the Lovers. Talk about disentangling. It's interesting because I'm seeing these like these two energies braided together, plaited together in these crisscross. It's the same plait. You could even, like, if you pull this away and kind of squint, it almost looks like a braid, like you're braided in, plaited into this like trap. That's kind of what this is. And I think this is the time to make the cut. I'm seeing that as this, to walk away from the version of yourself that demands perfection, from the version of yourself that in demanding perfection actually keeps you trapped and smaller than you are. Remember how in April I'm talking about it's time to grow as big as you are. You can't do that if you're surrounded by knives, because the minute you start to expand, you're going to be cut. You're going to feel wounded. You've got to extricate yourself from the ways, your own mental perceptions that keep you small, in order to sort of, it's like you have to go underground to really meet your stronger self and probably sort of weave through the labyrinth of your own mental traps, which sounds real fun, in order to know where to make the cut, in order to know, oh, okay, that's how I keep myself entangled. Snip, 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 and free yourself to grow, to embody, to shine, to be. This is really just talking about the freedom to be who you are. The freedom to just be the human you already are, not the human you think you need to be, or the human you think others want you to be. And I'm brought back again to this idea of, in Charlotte's Web, the pig Wilbur was the runt of the litter. Okay, going back to this idea of smallness, was the runt of the litter and ended up being chosen and growing to be like a famous pig that got to live its full lifespan and got to live a life that other pigs wouldn't have even dreamed of, and that Wilbur himself would never have dreamed he could have lived. So again, from this smaller size to allowing yourself to expand by valuing yourself. That's all this is. You value yourself and others will value you. It's really that simple. That's what this reading boils down to. Now, here's what's interesting. Remember how I said this is you meeting your stronger self? Your stronger self is not your more aggressive self. That's not how you expand. Your stronger self is your gentler self, is your compassionate self, is your emotional self, is your intuitive self. Maybe your child self, if that's something that resonates for you. So I'm bringing out the Page of Cups from the Mary L. Tarot because this is the card that came through as your guide through COVID-19. In March, I did a reading, a collective reading on the way through this pandemic, and I pulled a guide for each zodiac sign, and your guide, Virgo, is the Page of Cups. This child, and notice how there's sort of this like downward tip to the child's head. You are not a child in a diminutive sense. There's like a sense of shame and sort of like diminutive energy here, sort of like making yourself small, making yourself a child, making yourself incapable or something like that. And it's like, I just want to like pick up your chin, raise your chin up to embody the full magic that the Page of Cups actually is. The Page of Cups is an emotional, intuitive artist, a poet, a messenger for deep, deep, transformative energy. This is Wilbur, you know? This is Wilbur, and Charlotte saw the potential in Wilbur and said, this baby can't die. This baby can't go on to slaughter like the other pigs. This baby needs to recognize his own intelligence and live a full life. And as soon as you do, others will value you as well. Wow, Virgo. Okay, let's get you a card to finish this half of your reading from Octus Bauman's podcast deck. So here's the deal, Virgo. This is just the first half of your reading here in May. I'm going to continue this reading into an extended that will be available on Patreon. Okay, so if you are interested in diving deeper into this with me and fleshing this out a bit more with other decks, stick around. At the end of this reading, there will be a preview of that extended to see what we really get into. And if it's continuing to resonate with you and you'd like to view it, click the link in the description box below and that will take you to Patreon. Patreon is an online community I've created for folks who've been following my work for some time and they know that the way I read the cards resonates with them. If that sounds like you and you'd like to dig deeper, I'll see you over on Patreon. Read the full description on the page when you get there so you know how it works, and I'll send you your extended reading for May. Okay, Virgo, let's get you an Octus Bauman podcast card to close this half of your reading. What is the message? Okay, didn't even get it out. We got 2 cards. Oh, wow. Sometimes these readings write themselves. Failure is always an option. Say that to a perfectionist and see how it lands, right, Virgo? And then it says here, want yourself first. Exactly. Value yourself in all of your imperfections, all of your fallibility as a human, all of your vulnerability, your very human humanity. Valuing those parts of yourself means that you are allowing yourself to fail if that's what happens. Allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to try something and have it not work out the way you thought. Rather than holding yourself to some standard of perfection that means you constantly feel like a failure because you're never going to meet those standards. The way you climb above that pile of crap is by recognizing your full humanity and valuing that, recognizing that that is desirable, that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy to be here, to be fully human in all of your humanity, in all of your imperfections, if you can even call them that. And you value yourself first, and others begin to value you at the same level. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for the way others treat you. Wow. And this is really prioritizing yourself above the needs of others, or the expectations of others, or the opinions of others. That's like step one in valuing yourself, is not really worrying about how others are perceiving you or what others are expecting of you. It's like, hold on. Forget about other people for a second. What do you expect of you? What do you value in you? What do you desire? Okay. Virgo. Wow. All right, I'm going to get into the extended reading now. Perhaps you'll join me there. But regardless, it was lovely to meet you here on YouTube, Virgo. If you enjoyed this reading, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It'll help me grow here on YouTube. And if you are interested in working with me more directly, Patreon is the place to do that, or unseenhandshealing.com. You can check out my offerings for personal readings and get in touch there. Thanks, Virgo. Talk to you soon. Finding that middle ground between the aggressive type of strength and ferocity of the lion and the delicate, vulnerable strength of the fern. Finding that is how you find your stronger self. And I think the only way for you to really find that, and for you to really be able to see these mental traps clearly and transform them, put them to bed, lay them to rest, walk away from that kind of conflict. Maybe you're experiencing a moment or a few moments of a lot of mental conflict. Maybe communicative tussles with others, like conflict in your relationships, and you're like, why does this keep happening? What is this about? Why do we keep tussling like this? And it's like, okay, Virgo, slow down. It could be because you're moving faster than you are able to. You're moving too fast to tune in